Hello everybody, welcome back to JRE in a nutshell. This week we found out where Joe was for a couple weeks. He went to Greece. By the way, it's not like I'm TNC and I'm fucking googling and gossiping about where Joe is. Everything that I know comes from his mouth. He speaks in the podcast, he tells his stories and I just repeat. I don't even know the name of his wife or his kids. I just know he has wives and kids because he speaks about them, but I'm not the one doing research on his life and gossiping and all that shit. So everything that you find out from me, I found out directly from him. He speaks about going to the Parthenon and his impressions in Greek islands and stuff like this. So that's why I know. But now we know that he pre-recorded a couple of weeks worth of episodes so he could go on vacation, and now he's back. So this week we have three amazing interviews. We have Saad, who always when he comes along, super interesting psychology, super smart, from Lebanon originally, moved to Canada. He's Canadian, being cancelled, one of the Jordan Peterson group, people who are psychologists actually, who are being cancelled for speaking their minds and not going along with this narrative. Then we have Paul Rosolie. This guy is fucking amazing. He lives in the Amazon rainforest basically, and he just came for this interview and he's going back there, so he dedicated his whole life to restoring and protecting the Amazon rainforest and creatures and everything. So he explains everything. The only reason I didn't timestamp this interview is because it's all about the same topic. So he goes explaining everything we have in the Amazon, medicines and animals that we can protect, and he gives links that I'm sharing in the description where you can donate to protect the rainforest. Amazing interview. I'm not time stamping it, but I definitely recommend you to watch it whole because it's super cool. And we have Jim Gaffigan, comedian, super funny dude, promoting his 10th special, but the least we speak about is comedy. We have a lot of controversial conspiracies and social cultural problems, politics a lot. So very interesting week. Before we start, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe and stay until the end so you can check out the quote of the week. So let's get started. So let's begin with this amazing interview with Paul Rosolie. This guy has been living in the Amazon rainforest for a long time. I don't even know if it's said, but definitely a long time. And he's been involved with nature for all his life, basically. So he has a lot of experience, not only when it comes to the Amazon and in nature, but also worldwide. So we speak when it comes to the Amazon the most. Of course, we speak about the problems we're having with clearing the Amazon, cutting the trees, and because of gold mining, because of farming, because of many other things, the difference between illegal gold mining and how dangerous that is. And we speak about so many different species of animals that live in the Amazon, and we go 10 minutes into each, so we go kind of deep into explaining the kind of creatures they are, with snakes, anacondas, a lot of anaconda stuff, and spiders and jaguars, and the jaguar thing is super crazy interesting. It's a fucking cool interview in general. We speak also about elephants. We know that there's no elephants in the Amazon, but he mentioned in his experience how he saw, because of the poaching of the elephant tusk, he sees that elephants are developing smaller tusks actually. So those elephants that had this huge tusk don't exist anymore. They're not even born anymore. They develop really small tusks for self-preservation. It's crazy how evolution works. Also, it's crazy how elephants are and how smart they are. There's proof that they've been using medicine, even the same medicine that we use. The way they communicate, they vibrate and send connections through the ground, and it's the soundtrack that we're listening now. It's amazingly interesting. He speaks about the connection with the nature, how he feels now that he's basically living all the time in the jungle when he comes back to society, let's say. Everything is super cool. The quote of the week is coming from this interview. It's quite long, so I'm just gonna keep it short here so this guy can say the same, give you motivation to help the jungle. All of the description for all of the links where you can also help are down. Please give the Amazon some love. I give this interview 4.5 nuts at least. Definitely check it out. Super cool. So, and now let's go with this super interview with Jim Gaffigan, who is normally a comedian, but they don't speak almost anything about comedy. They talk a lot about nutrition and health, a lot about it. Every aspect, not only nutrition, but also the cold plunge, the sauna, exercising, what we eat, the food that we eat, even if you're a vegetarian. They speak about genetically modified food, which is a GMO, and how they're not allowed in Europe, they're allowed in the US, super bad for you. Politics, a lot about the possible presidential candidates for the 2024. All of them they mention, they speak about each of them. Is so cool, so interesting. They speak about Ukraine war, also going, of course, deep, and as usual, giving some perspectives. Because actually Jim is quite woke. I didn't know this before. Some of the narrative that he has is a mainstream media narrative. So it's very interesting to see an open-minded woke person giving actual arguments, and actually that makes kind of sense, not only screaming, you're wrong, fascist and Nazi and whatever, but actually come back with reasonable arguments. It's actually like, wow, finally. So it's pretty cool interview. They speak, like I said, farming, fishing, the fact that we are not going to have any more fish in 2048.
2048, no more fish.
Oh my God.
The current state of overfishing continues. The world's oceans will be emptied for fish by 2048. What?
Wow.
It's scary as fuck. There's gonna be more plastic than fish in the ocean. Super scary. They speak about this project, the Ocean Cleanup, which I knew for a couple of years. Actually, when it started, I saw live the boat being deployed from San Francisco going into the plastic patch in the Pacific Ocean. I bought some t-shirts from them and donated a bit. The link is down below. Please donate. These people are legit. They're not some kind of bullshit organization that's gonna just take your money. So these people want to clean the ocean. They're doing a lot for it. And if you don't want to donate, buy a t-shirt from them. They have pretty cool shop anyway. And all the money they make, not only are the products recycled from the plastic that they collect, but also the money that the profit they make is going directly to that. So I understand if you don't want to donate, but you can buy a t-shirt, you can buy some pretty cool shit that they have and help clean the ocean. So for this interview, I'm going to give it 4 nuts. Very, very, very interesting. Jim Gaffigan. Of course, it's funny as fuck as well, because you have two comedians talking politics. Hilarious. So definitely check it out. So, and now let's go with the timestamps with this amazing interview with Saad. Normally, it's a very, very cool interview. When he comes on, they start by talking about his 9th visit on the show and his new book. This one is not the best of the interviews where he has been on, but it's still pretty interesting. The beginning is quite soft and quite, let's say, social and just private information. But the second half, then they go deep. They start cutting throats and it gets super interesting. So they speak about his book at the beginning, his audiobook. They talk about his story, his escape from the war in Lebanon, etc., etc. Then they move to famous liberals who are famous, like Stephen King. He said that sometimes they get so woke that it's hard to like their art anymore because, yeah, it gets annoying. So I totally understand. I saw this with Gene Simmons from Kiss and all of his shit about the vaccine, and I'm like, dude, come on, man, don't fuck up. And I love Kiss. They speak about social media and they go into the Hotez debate at the beginning. A little bit they speak about the fact that Hotez doesn't want to debate, and Joe Rogan says his reasons, of course, which is you don't have any arguments, or there's something that the other side can say that's gonna be way too revealing that you cannot admit or counter. So that's also, I think, my reason. And of course, there's a lot of people saying that no, he just is not worth it. But every debate is worth it, especially if you're sure you're gonna win. This is what I tell the people. No, when they say it's not worth it, I said, well, you say it's not worth it because it's so easily winnable for you. If I would have to debate a flat earth person, I would take that debate in a heartbeat because it's gonna be so easy to beat him. Doesn't everybody want a free win? And also on top of that, you get to discredit 2 huge names that are against you, which is Joe Rogan for accepting this bullshit debate and RFK for losing it. So there's a lot to win here. The people that say that it's not worth it, they're completely blind. It's a lot to win for them if they win, so why don't they take it? The only logical reason for me is that they cannot win it. They're too scared that they're gonna lose this argument and then it's gonna be worse. That's the only logical reason I can come up with. So let's move on. They move to movies. They speak about Clint Eastwood when it comes to all of these famous people. Then they talk about Clint Eastwood a lot and how he stays true and he's 90 something and still working, badass guy. And his movies from the 60s, from the 70s. They speak about each of them favorite movies. From Joel, he said that he doesn't have a favorite movie, but he watched not so long ago 2001 Space Odyssey, which was amazing. And Saad said that his favorite movie is 12 Angry Men, the first version. I disagree. I like actually more the new version. The first version, the black and white version, I don't really like that much. I've seen both a couple times, and the newest one is a lot better. 12 Angry Men, you gotta check it out. In my opinion, the new one. You have John Lemon and you have Tony Danza. There's still James Gandolfini. They're still amazing actors in the new one. So fucking check it out. Bubba from Forrest Gump. He's the bad guy. He's hilarious. Check the movie out. It's cool. So we move to political distractions, like things that are put there to distract you from what's going on. I'm gonna say I wish I was there because they didn't speak about the Titan. They knew 24 hours after the accident that they were dead, and they kept the whole world for 1 week just bullshitting. For what? Just it's a distraction. It was all a distraction. So they speak about all of these laws that are being turned, Roe v. Wade, and also the gay marriage. And he says how ridiculous this is that in 2023 we're still talking about gay marriage and why is it illegal and all that shit. It should everything be legal. Like, stop with this bullshit. And it's all distractions. Tucker Carlson and problems that he has, of course. They speak a lot about him and how he's actually a nice guy. He's just been demonized by the media, and I follow him. And a lot of people, wow, how dare you? It's like, listen to what he has to say. I haven't heard anything racist until now, and I've been following him for a while. So, I mean, when he says something like white supremacy or something, then I stop listening to it. But so far, he's been clean, so I don't really understand what's the problem with the people. And they speak about Black Lives Matter. They move to prices in Austin, how this guy paid $8 for an espresso and how expensive Austin is. And they move to how Starbucks is the biggest drug cartel in the world, how they managed to fucking... Nobody used to like coffee, and now it's a standard, basically, thanks to them. And of course, that doesn't mean it's bad, just everything with moderation. Let's talk about that also. Then they speak about his trip in Greece, as I mentioned. He speaks about it himself. They talk a lot about languages, the Arabic language, the accents that someone has when someone is born somewhere else but lives here. And Saad says that after 11 years old or 12 or 13, you are no longer able to speak without the accent. Doesn't matter how many years you live there. I mean, I've been living 15 years in a German-speaking country, and I definitely have an accent. But I came here when I was 25, so far he's right. But I don't really want to cancel my accent. I'm proud of my accent, so I don't really give a shit. They speak about the language of the demons and how always when in movies when they summon demons, they speak in this Latin or fucking old Greek or shit like this.
Mirabile dictu, don't you agree? You speak Latin.
It's really funny. And they talk a lot about personal anecdotes. Then they move to sports. They speak a lot about Lionel Messi. This guy's obviously a soccer fan, football fan. Joe is not, as a good American. So there's a lot of football and World Cup talk when it comes to soccer, football. And they speak about other sports and which sport is the most demanding sport. They talk about boxing, they talk about squash, table tennis, and of course about martial arts. They go there for a while in martial arts. Then they get serious. They move to COVID, reasons for COVID, all of the lab leak things, problems, the social media bots. They move to the origins of religion. Joe mentions, as usual, this book, The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross, or something like this is called. They talk about moral compass. They move to freedom of speech, LGBT, pedophilia, the death penalty. So look how the course of the conversation goes. So yeah, all the problems, of course, with each of them, let's say. Super cool. And then they move to Canada. It's the last stop, is what the problems in Canada, the drama, the fucking totalitarianism that is going on in Canada. Crazy shit. This guy's Canadian, so he tells firsthand he's been thinking about moving out, but his family lives in Montreal and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's the trucker situation, Trudeau, and the end actually with California, which is basically Canada, but in the States, and all of the problems there. So really cool interview. I would give it 4 nods. The first half kind of soft, as I said, but around 1 hour, 20 minutes, it starts getting hot and spicy. So yeah, I'll go and check it out. So, and that is a wrap for another JRE in a nutshell. Thank you very much for checking out my channel, listening to my episodes, and coming so far. Please don't forget to thumbs up, to like, to subscribe, to share me with your friends. Tell your friends also. Don't forget to check the descriptions and donate and help to the causes. They're all legitimately good. You can do your own research. Of course, I actually encourage you to check them out thoroughly before you put any money anywhere, because there's a lot of fucking fuckery going on. So these guys, I've checked myself, they're legit. Please do your own research so you can check it out for yourself and help the planet legitimately, not with fucking banners and on Instagram calling people Nazis. That's not help. If you want to help the planet, fucking help the planet. I don't have time, sadly, to go volunteer somewhere, but I can send them $20 a month, and I'm sure that every cent that I'm spending is actually one piece of plastic getting out of the sea. So yeah, go and do something for Earth if you can. And yeah, don't forget to stay until the quote of the week, and I'll see you next week, guys. Peace.
I feel like what's happening, so many people, it's just like, you wake up and you're like, well, what do I do now? It's like you get so disconnected from the systems that we're a part of. It's like it's amputating us of the thing that connects us to whatever is running this machine, like the gears that work the game. Like, and that's that these people still remember. They're still connected to that reality. And none of these people are going, are we living in a simulation? They're like, no, they know what reality is because they're living in it every day. And so I think that preserving these last wild places while they're still here, like I truly believe that we're at the most crucial moment in history, not because of nuclear war or anything like that, but because never before has there been a global threat. Right now, we're on the cusp of, we're going through this extinction crisis, and you can talk about climate change, but like our rivers and our ecosystems are being tested to the point where like our oceans are collapsing, our rainforests are vanishing, we're losing species faster than we can even count. And we have all the knowledge and technology and ability to stop it. We've seen that humpback whales, they went down from like 120, they were up at around 120,000 pre-whaling, and they went down to like 5,000. And then we banned whaling, and now they're back up to like 115,000 humpback whales globally. Like, they're back. Bald eagles, they're back. If you just stop annihilating these animals and murdering their habitats, they will continue to make the ecosystems that have been our home on this planet for millions of years. Like, they literally have made our lives possible. And so, like, to me, there is nothing more important. And I think that when I was a little kid, I actually think I had some semblance of an idea that my mission was, I'm here to protect rainforest. That's what I'm here to do. And that's why I had to get there quickly, before it was too late. And I had the incredible luck of meeting a teacher who could unlock that world for me. And now we have the chance, the historical chance. You talk about those sharks. There are trees on the river that were there before the Spanish touched South America. So the world wars, everything that we know, our grandparents, all of this, that tree was a sapling standing there in the Amazon rainforest while pretty much everything that we're familiar with took place in history. And we have a chance to protect the incredible complex ecosystem of thousands of species that are living on this tree that can never be replaced. You're talking about a millennium tree with leafcutter ants and reptiles, amphibians, birds, mammals, mosses, lichens, cactus, everything living on this skyscraper of life. And we can cut it down for nothing and grow some papayas, or we can protect it. And we have the chance to protect it, and no one else is going to have that chance. And as a global society, it's like we can protect black rhinos before they go extinct. This incredible, ancient, monstrous megafauna animal that we have the privilege of experiencing. There's no reason for this to happen, that people falsely believe that their horns are medicinal when they're not.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I think we are at the most exciting time with the most exciting opportunity, because the natural world, we could get through this and people will look back on our time and just go, what were they thinking? Like the way, like when the Industrial Revolution came around and they put all the kids in the factories and they were getting like crushed in the gears and choked out by smoke. And it was like, we just made regulations and fixed it. It's like, we don't need to be killing life on Earth. We can exist here, and it is awesome. We can fly, and we can take photos, and we can have all this amazing technology. We can leave our planet now soon. all of this is possible, but we have to remember the basic truth that we are inextricably tied to our ecosystems. And there's no getting around that. And so we have to protect them. And so that's the mission that we're on.